Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhaya Darunam. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhaya Darunam. Navakanjalochana Kanja Mukhakara Kanjapada Kanjarunam. Kandarpa Ganita Amita Chavinava Nila Niraja Sundaram. Patapita Manahu Tadita Ruchi Shuchi Naumi Janaka Sutavaram. Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Ram Ram, Siya Ram. Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Ram Ram, Siya Ram. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhaya Darunam. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhaya Darunam. Navakanjalochana Kanja Mukhakara Kanjapada Kanjarunam. Kandarpa Ganita Amita Chavinava Nila Niraja Sundaram. Patapita Manahu Tadita Ruchi Shuchi Mi Janaka Sutavaram. Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Ram Ram, Siya Ram. Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Ram Ram, Siya Ram.
Audible? No. Yes? So we come to Satsang, Sat being truth. Truth. And there is no difference between God and truth. So we come to Satsang to turn towards the truth, turn towards God, to find, to meet God. We'll talk about what that even means. And then to stay with God. So the turning is important and difficult. The meeting is His grace. So we can't say easy or difficult. And the staying is a combination of difficult and His grace. Everything is His grace. So I know that sometimes you may get into this grace versus will debate, but let's presume I'm talking about seems difficult, seems fully graceful, seems mixed between grace and will, application of agency. So, the turning towards God, why does it seem so difficult? Because Maya seems very real, and the me seems very real. So what if it is real? Yeah. So we can still turn to God. No? But in that seeming real, you see, in the false seeming real, the truth seems unreal. You see? So somehow it is not like the perceptual world. You can say that the couch seems real, the computer seems real, and both can seem real. In our lives, either Maya will seem real or God will seem real. That's why the great sages said that the gully is very sakri, the lane is very narrow. If there is me, there cannot be God. If there is God, there cannot be me. You see? So if the me is seeming real, we are not in the right place to live in the presence of God. And if God is seeming real, then we are in the right place where all that is ephemeral, all that is just in time will be allowed to come and go. Our outer life will not seem that full of suffering. Is this resonating with your experience so far? You see? Now it may not resonate with your experience if God is just another compartment in your mind itself. You see? So then the me doesn't go away, and God seems to be something that is in service to the me. You see? But if the room is lit, then the room cannot be dark. It seems like a very obvious thing to say. But if the room is lit, then it cannot be dark. So if God's presence is lighting up your insides, your antakarna, your soul, then it cannot be caught up in selfishness, caught up in egotism, cannot be caught up in pride. Can we increase this by one or two? Okay, we'll try like this. So because all of our conditioning is about this made up entity called me, you see, and that's why Anandamayi Ma said very beautifully that Maya is only possible when the me comes, when मैं आया. It is my favorite, one of the favorite things I've ever heard in spirituality. It seems so simple, but even if this much is we catch the drift of that insight, then it gives us a whole spiritual pathway. So it is not the mere appearance of phenomena, not the mere appearance of this world, but when there is a when there is a me at the center of this narrative, when that is believed or taken to be true, that is when we are truly in Maya. Now, this me has 4 friends that seem like friends, or 4 main temptations, 4 main areas of interest. What are they? Relationships, money, body, and conceptual meaning, intellectual understanding, isn't it? So, and I've noticed that we often undermine the 4th one, which is conceptual meaning or intellectual understanding, but many times those who are deepening or attempting to deepen in their spiritual life get stuck with intellectual understanding. So, and there's nothing in itself wrong with intellectual understanding, except that to take it to be a finality, to take it to be the ultimate reality, then is a mistake. You see? So, is a Brahmagyani, the knower of the highest, is he one who remembers that I am Brahman? Yeah? Just in memory or intellect, to know conceptually that I am Brahman is not a Brahmagyani. Then everybody can become Brahmagyani. Come, I'll tell you a secret. You are Brahman. Come, I'll tell you. You are Brahmagyani. You are Brahmagyani. You see, but it doesn't work like that. Why doesn't it work like that? Because the Gyan, the knowledge of the highest, of Brahman, is not the knowledge which we can hold in our mind intellect system. And that is why these proclamations were called the highest proclamations, the Mahavakyas. I am that. You see? It is not coming from a place of conceptual understanding or I just know this like in my mind, but it comes from a space of actually meeting that reality. Coming from a place of actually meeting that reality. So, to go beyond our mind, to go beyond our conceptual understanding, that requires faith, it requires patience, it requires humility. We are so used to in this world taking up courses, taking exams, writing them, hopefully passing them. So we feel like we should do this fairly quickly, and we can just hear the concept, reproduce the concept, and then I should get passing marks and I should get into freedom, enlightenment, whatever fancy term you want to call that. But if I say it is a lifetime project, then it doesn't seem that attractive anymore. It seems more frustrating, it seems more difficult. But it is the most beautiful project, and even to remain at the first step of this project for the entirety of this life would be much more valuable than spending this entire life stuck in the me. Don't worry at all. It is just part of the ambience, and we should not. There's nothing, that's why the volume is also high. So, for those of us who want to hear, will hear. Nothing will disturb them hearing. So, don't worry. So now, what is the experience of your life? Coming back to where we started, why does it seem so difficult to turn inwards towards God and to stay there?
Because God doesn't reveal himself so instantly.
God doesn't reveal himself instantly. No? So, but what makes the turning difficult or remaining inward facing difficult?
To manage not to take the me back.
So let's link it to what you said earlier, which is that I turn inwards, but God is not an instant revelation. You see, we can't order the revelation on demand. You see, we can only turn inwards, and He reveals Himself when it is His grace to reveal Himself, and it is His will to reveal Himself. Now, because that revelation is not happening, but still we have heard in Satsang that that is the holiest way for us to be. You see? You see? Why does it still seem difficult?
Because the me is compelling, and
Yeah.
instantly the me is going to take
Yeah.
it as a failure.
Yeah,
I failed.
because we can take the mic, so we can repeat that.
Because the me is still very compelling, and it says, or the me says,
Yes.
I failed, and yeah.
So the me, you see, the me is conceptualized, is made up in which way? So what you're saying is that it says. What does she mean when she says it says? The me says. How do we know it says? Huh? In the form of a thought. You see? So often in satsang we call the mind the lawyer for the me, or the narrator if you're being kind, the sutradhar who's telling the story of this me. You see? And when the story is there, we hardly ever bother to investigate whether such a me is actually there or not. Because the story is compelling. And the story offers one of these four things. Maybe even spiritual meaning is counted in as if it is intellectual meaning. So it offers us things which seem more tangible, but God's presence seems more elusive. That's why it seems more compelling. That's why when we do this simple experiment, saying what if Ram, Krishna, Jesus, Allah, whichever way you were to fathom them, if he was to walk into this room right now, then how would we be? Is it? So we are switching him out in that thought experiment. We are switching him out from the unseen to the seen. And it always seems to work, which means that our attachment is still more to the seen than the unseen. You see? So whenever I say, what if Ramji was here in front of you right now? You would say, I'd forget about all my troubles, I'd forget about wanting anything, I'd just be so happy that he was here in front of me. You see? Isn't it? So it inevitably works. What does that show? That we value that which is seen, what is called pratyaksh, more than the unseen, which is aprathyaksh.
Father, but my faith tells me he's here now.
Yes, you see? But
Like not a waiting only.
uh,
I'm just going to speak from my heart because
Yeah,
my mind
yeah,
is
please.
troubling. But my faith tells me that God is here now, and there's no waiting for that. That I'm not going. I don't have to wait
yes,
for Him to appear.
yes. So our faith tells us that. What does faith mean?
What does faith mean?
Does faith mean blind belief?
No.
Andhavishwas? Yeah? Dedication? Okay, we'll look more. Yeah. What does faith mean?
A knowing, yeah.
A recognition, a knowing. Yeah? So, if we know that God is here, then why do we flip?
Because we forget. We take the me as real.
Because this knowing is a different construct. See, this knowing is not just thought. This knowing is what we call intuitive insight or heart knowledge or Atma Gyan. You see? When we stay turned inwards in our heart, we know this, but the mind does not participate in this knowing. And therefore, for it, nothing is happening. So it can say, nothing is happening, you're wasting your time. You are not seeing anything. God is not revealing Himself. So what is the point of what you're doing? But what is the point of what you're doing? Suppose you've turned inwards and in the mind's narrative nothing is happening. You see, what do you know in your heart is actually happening?
Staying with God.
And in the staying with God, what is happening? Can we talk about that for a few minutes? So, when we are staying with God, our insides are being transformed. Now, what do I mean by that? I often say this, but what do I mean by that? that our insides are being transformed. One simple simple metaphor for this I gave, which is that the light is switched on in the room, although the light is unseen. So it is called a dazzling darkness by the Sufis, Marifa. But that dazzling darkness is the same as Atmagyan. Okay? So when we turn inwards, that inward turning, whether something is perceived or not perceived, your soul, your Antakarna is being transformed. In what way is it transformed? The attachment to the false is reducing. As we get used to living in that true place, our attachment to that notional me and what the me wants is reducing. Then our faith is growing. Our faith is growing. I don't need God to come in front of me, in front of my senses, for me to take God to be real, because what I find, even in this invisibility, is higher than what I would find in the visibility. What I find even in his invisibility is higher than what I would find in his visibility. And that is the same thing as saying your faith deepens. Because it is our faith that tells us to rely on the unseen Lord, unseen through our senses Lord, than the necessarily for him to need to appear in front of your eyes. So that then, because it is such a humbling experience, because it is such a humbling experience, why is it a humbling experience to stay there? No room for me, nothing I can do to speed the process, no moves left over there. I'm completely stripped naked, basically. So those of us who are practitioners know the humility that I'm talking about. You see, because you're staying there and you have to leave all devices behind. And devices, I don't just mean phone and computer. I mean all mechanisms. You see, all worldly mechanisms, perception, all the bodily mechanisms, everything has to be left behind. Are you following? No? So, if you are empty of all, anything you can do to make this better, faster, improve your grasping, if you are stripped of all of those mechanisms, you see, would you become more proud or more humble? Isn't it? So, this humility grows because you realize that here none of my tricks, none of my conditions, you see, we have got used to living in the world. So we know how to deal in the world, at least we try to know how to deal in this world. You see, we know if we say please, then people react this way. If we say thank you, then they may like us more. You see, if we say something like that. All of these mechanisms we have learned. None of this works over there. Because all of this has to be left behind. You see, it may work, like you may use it in your prayer to get to that point. You see, it may work to help you get to that point by bowing down to the Lord. But once you're there, you cannot hold any mechanics. You cannot use any tool, you cannot use any device. You see? And this for all of this to be taken away from us or not being effective is a very humbling process. It doesn't matter if I've been 50 years in satsang or I've been 5 days in satsang. Over there it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I've read all the scriptures or I haven't read any scriptures. Over there it doesn't matter. Man, woman, old, young, none of this matters there. In fact, if you remember any of this in there, you're not in there. You see, you can't remember your gender there, you can't remember your name there, you can't remember anything about your identity there. So we leave all that behind. You see, that is the true bath we take before we approach God's temple in our heart. See, take the mic.
It seems that there is a contradiction because you say we leave.
Yeah.
So, because this is not something that we can actively do, like I'm gonna leave everything behind.
Yes. So there's a, to borrow terms from Saint Teresa of Avila, there's a active recollection and there's a passive recollection. So an active recollection usually is easier to do after we've cooked in our spirituality for some time. So if we are taking God's name or if you're doing self-inquiry, then after a point it seems easier for us to direct ourselves, and it's not just a direction of our attention, but it includes our attention, but it's a direction, it's a orientation of our soul inwards, of our soul, of our antakarna inwards. You see, don't you find that happening? You hear a beautiful bhajan, then something just, you feel like, no, I just want to deepen in this, let me just go. You see, like that. So what is the definition in my very crude definition of active recollection, and Saint Teresa will forgive me for this, but but it seems like I am exerting a slight weight, like a paperweight, you see, on the process of turning inwards. Like I'm turning my attention inwards, allowing everything to go inwards. I don't know, we can't really talk about this process much, it's very pristine, but we all tasted it, no? Like, if I say try to go inwards now, after so many years in spirituality, we don't know what we are doing, but something knows what it is doing. It's like a tacit knowledge. So we turn inwards. But if you like, if I remove that weight, if you remove the paperweight, you'll be out quickly. You see? So that's what active turning inwards look like. So recollection, fancy word, don't worry about it. It only means turning inwards, turning the entirety of our insides inwards. You see? So recollection, collecting all of ourselves and turning it inwards. Inwards being where God lives. Inwards in the heart. So we try to do the active recollection. After a while, and all of us again have had this experience, and this is called passive recollection, where it no longer feels like I have to exert any attentive attention inwards, I have to exert any mechanism. It feels like something in fact is now pulling me in. You see? Pulling my insides in, pulling my soul into the heart. The inward turning now has been taken over by him. You see, or her, whichever way you want to refer to God. So then God takes over the process. He starts doing all the work. And that part is called a passive recollection. So then he brings us, he keeps us there. So the active part seems like I can do it. The passive part is very clear, even in the seeming, that only he can do. It's very clear because you're being pulled in, literally like somebody is pulling your hand and pulling you inside. You see, so you can't be confused about that. That am I doing this or is this happening to me? It's apparent. How is it apparent? That if you were to come out of this, it would feel like effort to come out. And once you heard this, you'll notice these things for yourself. First, it felt like a little bit of effort to keep the inward turning happening. Then, when he has pulled us in, then it feels like if you had to come out, you would have to, no, I need to, like, something. I need to come out. You need to exert that pressure. So then the pull has to come from us, pulling us outwards. So getting this? So we do the cooking. Ram, 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 whichever way you go. Then after some time, the We have marinated in the Lord's name, you see, or we said, who am I? A thought presents the answer. You say, who witnesses that thought? And we are not buying into any narrative. Nothing is being believed. Everything is met with the question, who is the witness? Who am I? So it is time-tested experience that through either any spiritual process, we then feel like I'm leaving the outer mechanics of the process and now I just feel like I want to turn inwards in silence. You see? So then that is the extent of what we can do. We can meet that stillness. We can come to that silence or that stillness. With me so far, why is everyone looking so... Just, I would say practice. If it's seeming unapproachable what I'm talking about, just practice. All this will reveal itself to you. You see? So, after we've cooked for a while, then it'll seem natural for us to move ourselves, change the orientation of our antakarna inwards rather than outwards. You see? So, and when that seems like I am doing it, I have some effort, I'm exerting some agency to turn inwards, then that part is called active recollection. You see? And when we have waited there long enough up to His grace, we are never entitled to it, but after a while, He is the one who is pulling us into realms that we cannot even fathom, but they are not to be seen through these sensory eyes. You see? But He brings us, there's so much depth in us that this outer universe which is boundless is nothing, is tiny. That which is inside us is much more than that which is outside us. In fact, it can be said that the outside also is just a seeming which is inside us. Just pass the mic to Amol. Amol.
Father, maybe, so I see there are 3 steps here, just to make it as a process. The first one you mentioned, let's say a paperweight process,
Yes.
or some effort where you're getting in. Then the second would be staying there, Father.
Yeah, we stay with that.
That also needs my effort.
It needs?
Does it need efforts, or it is?
Yeah, because when you're here, what happens? Can you say from your experience what happens?
The thoughts will come and then we start going back again.
Exactly. So that's what makes it difficult. The turning inwards, our part of the bargain of turning inwards, seems difficult because thoughts will present themselves as compelling narratives about the me, therefore offering Maya. You see?
Turning inwards is known, and you have given hundreds of pointers. For the staying there is a separate process, or it's part of turning inwards?
It's part of it in the sense that when you feel like you're buying into the thought, then you go back to the cooking. Then you go back to taking God's name. Sometimes just our vigilance is enough. You see, these things are very subtle, no? But all of you would have experienced it. You're there. A thought is starting to build up. I wonder what tomorrow morning will be like. Will I have energy for a walk? Where should I go for a walk? You see, all this is, so sometimes we're just getting hypnotized in this thing we don't realize. We are not seeing all this is happening. But when we notice, sometimes our vigilance is enough, so we notice, gone, free from that. If we find this walk topic, or will I go, will I not go, is now just taking over, then you return to the inquiry or you return to God's name. You see? Then you repeat that, and it depends. You get an inner sense of when it is enough, isn't it? You get an inner sense of when it is enough, when you are ripe enough to turn inwards. You get that sense. So it's not
Steps.
it's not necessarily a one-way street. You may have to iterate between things. You may have to go back and forth. Yeah, all of us do. So like that you go, and then the Lord pulls you into your heart, and then you have very natural states like Savikalpa Samadhi. You have natural states like Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which are also called prayer of quiet, prayer of union, based on the culture that you're in. And that's also very beautiful, which tells us that our insides are all the same. You could have lived in any part of the world, you could have followed any religion, but your inner movement, how your insides move, is universal. So let's not even get into what those samadhi states are. All of that can be kept for later. What is important is that this is the place which is ripe for revelation. You see? It is ripe for discovery. Empty of the me is the perfect dinner table that I am setting for the greatest visitor to come. You see, for the highest dinner guest to come, for the Lord Himself to come. So here, without any mechanisms, without any tools, completely naked of everything I have as a defense in the outer world, you see, can the holy meeting with the highest happen. Know that in the turning itself, we start receiving Atma Gyan. In the turning itself, we have started receiving Atma Gyan. You just feel like you have spiritual knowledge, you don't know where you heard that, where did it come from, how do you know it's this way. So you start receiving spiritual knowledge. You also receive knowledge which makes you humble. You see? It shows you our absence of love, our lack of love. It shows us in various ways. So all the spiritual learning ground, the spiritual training ground, the discipleship of the Atma is already in place as we remain turned inwards, without any palpable recognition yet needing to happen. You see, without anything that we can point to conceptually or sensorially and say, this is what I experienced before, any of that. You see? And we are receiving so much. Don't ask me how I know this, but we are receiving so much that only a tiny percentage of that is conceptualizable and therefore speakable. So most of Atma Gyan is received in an ineffable way. Maybe there are not enough words to be able to put it in words actually. We don't have the dictionary to be able to put it in words. It is so beyond the grasp of the crude instruments of conceptualization like mind, intellect, that, and over there you don't want to. You don't want to put it into words. You see? So we are receiving a constant transmission. Receiving a constant transmission of heart knowledge when we are turned inwards. So Atma Gyan, discipleship of the Atma, has started with our even just with our intention to go inwards. Then there will come a point which we may call Atma Darshan, which means that a revelation of the Atma within. When it happens, how it happens, we cannot really say, but it's just His grace. You see, which means that you come to a recognition of the beingness, of the I amness, the presence of the beingness, the presence of the I amness is recognized in ways that we cannot talk about. Was the Atma perceived? No. Was it unperceived? No. It's stunning. Our inner love story is stunning. You see? Because you come to this gate and stay there, and all the holiest transmission is being received and is transforming you in every way. And at some point, the revelation of the presence of being is revealed to us. And when it is revealed to us, it feels like it was always here. What was I searching for? It has always been here. What's going on? What was I seeking? You see? So, and yet, it is well known that the process has to happen like that. We turn inwards, and then the revelation happens by His grace on His timeline. Now, it is a unique quote-unquote experience, because this experience you cannot say whether you saw something or you didn't see anything. You see? So I can't find better words than to say that it is both unperceived and perceived. Some may call it the subtlest, some have called it the subtlest vibration. You see? But that also can be given to the imagination, and we start imagining some subtle, like our emotional layer, our insides have a lot of vibrational quality, so we can latch on to that and think that that is the Atma. So I stay away from these vibrational type things. You actually, in your heart, you cannot be confused about that meeting. You see? In your heart, you cannot be confused about the meeting. In your mind, you may forever be confused about that meeting. Please.
When you take a step back again, so when you're saying be there, and there is only one possibility, either you or him, but there is some memory component or something of me also with that, isn't it? Or it's like...
So me, let's just say the identity is me. Let the rest of your Antakarna be the rest of your Antakarna. As long as there is no Amol there sitting and saying, this is what's happening to me, this is my story now, this is what my memory is telling me. Allow the rest of your faculties to function just normally. You are not getting into any Amolness.
So it's there, but not involved. You're saying that don't believe your thought, that one you're saying.
Yes, just don't buy into any, just remain empty of these stories.
But doesn't that mean that he and the personality both are existing there and I'm not believing it?
The personality has never really existed anywhere. The personality really has not existed anywhere. Like if you close your eyes and for 10 minutes kept believing thoughts about being an old woman on a railway station, you see, then in 10 minutes of believing thoughts about yourself as that old woman in a railway station, you, in the 11th minute, you will want to know what happened to her life after that. You see, so where is that old lady? This never actually existed. So our personality, our persona is that way. The body may be perceived. You see, all our layers of thoughts, emotions, all of these memories, imagination, all that may exist. But the limited entity which seems to be the owner of them, we can never find as an existent entity. It will always find only as a believed in entity, as an imagined entity. That is why our belief feeds it. Our perception doesn't feed it. Are you able to follow? Our belief feeds it. Because our belief, every time we believe a narrative of the me, it adds on to the structure of the me. What is that old woman like? Where did she live? So if you believed a thought about her, then you will have that answer. You see, so all of this builds the identity. Is she an atheist or does she love God? Depending on what thought you believed about her.
So it's if it's there, the old lady just don't feed further. That's what you're saying.
If it's there,
The old lady is there because
yeah.
that will come. Father, it's part of memory. Some part of me, small.
Okay, now you're empty.
Yes, Father.
Okay, don't let every thought go. Where is Amol?
Some point it comes that I am letting it go, Father.
That
I am
sorry,
letting it
why
go.
can't I hear so?
I am letting it go, Father. So
Yes. Now, okay, you're letting it go. Let go of Amol. Tell me when he's back.
not back, but still there.
Who is saying this?
We gone through this. Yeah. To come and say this, I have to believe.
Yeah, exactly. So when the mind presents you an idea, but here, I am telling you, he is not there. He's just an idea or a bundle of ideas believed in.
So when that idea is there, you just ignore it. You see?
Yeah, ignore it means that we talked about the mechanism, attention and belief. You see? So with some methods we don't put attention, with some methods we withdraw our belief. But as long as if it gets attention and belief, both, only then will it add to your identity, will the identity seem real. Isn't it? Yeah. So now we have turned inwards, and by His grace, in our turning inwards, we are receiving the flow from the Atma within into our soul, into our Antakarna. All true spirituality is received in this way. Okay? Then at some point, He reveals Himself in the form of the presence, the holy presence within ourselves, and that is called Atma Darshan, where we say the revelation of God, the revelation of who I am, revealed in the form of this presence of beingness. Then in the revelation of the presence of beingness, and if you, as we stay with that presence of beingness, then that which is even beyond being and not being, the source of beingness itself, reveals Himself to us as our very self, as our very reality. Yeah? What I'm telling you is good news, because our work stopped when? Our work stopped when we turn. You see? So know that spirituality is, I've often said this, but remember this, that 99.99999% God's work. You see? So our only job is to turn to Him. Swami Ramsukdaji said this, that God is the only one you can actually get just by turning to Him. You see, for everything else, you need to go to a shop, pay some money, buy whatever you want for everything in the world. You know, whatever construct you put to that. But God is going to be, why did He say that? Because our turning is a turning which is empty of me. And empty of me is the fertile ground for the revelation to happen. Getting a sense of this? I know, I only talk about what the spiritual project is. Because what else can I say? So every day we find some other way to communicate what the spiritual project is. So this is the spiritual project where we turn inwards, and that turning inwards makes us ripe for revelation. And the revelation will be of Atma, of Saguna and of Nirguna. Of the presence of being, it's the Atma, the unbound, unlimited beingness itself, and that which is beyond being and not being. So, we can say Paramatma, Ishwar, and Atma, or we can say Atma, Saguna Brahman, Nirguna Brahman, or we can say Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, whichever way, Holy Spirit, whichever way you want to put it. Thankfully, the inward journey is the same. It's just the words to describe will be different. So just before you ask your question, so the very point of satsang is that you come to receive the pointers, to receive the tools which help you with this inward turning. So in God's name you receive the medicine which helps you turn inwards. In self-inquiry you receive the medicine to help you turn inwards. In devotional singing we receive the medicine to turn inwards. When we talk about His greatness, we praise Him, we receive the medicine to turn inwards. When you are invited to grow in your kindness, in your love, in your outer expressions of humility, that is medicine for you to turn inwards. So all of what you hear in satsang is just medicine for you to turn inwards. And that's why I've been emphasizing this question, that this point, that I don't want to get into conceptual spiritual talk, because neither really intellectual nor is it spiritual. So if you are taking the medicine, then you can say, I'm taking this medicine, this is the effect it is having on me, or it's not working, what can I do? Or the side effects are too much, what can I do? You see? So we must start to treat satsang more and more like a doctor's consultation in that way.
Father, you mentioned about turning inward, right? And then being empty of us to meet the Lord. Now, is there any precondition to turning inward? Because when I'm turning inward, I'm still not empty of me. So that act itself is like, full of me, because I am turning inward with the desire of meeting the Lord, so I'm not empty.
Okay. So what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm hearing incorrectly, is that you're not turning inwards, because turning inwards means the emptying of the me.
Correct.
Isn't it?
Correct.
Okay, try now. Don't think about it. Like, don't try to solve it in your head. Just turn inward.
Yeah, nothing comes.
Huh?
It's blank.
Okay, good. So, is blank good or blank bad?
It's neutral, nothing.
Okay.
Like.
So, the absence of perception initially, is it? Because attention traverses through which spectrum? One spectrum of attention. On one end of the spectrum is this like blank, empty. On the other end of the spectrum is color, light, sound, all of this, isn't it? Now, when attention is turning inwards, obviously the perception will not be what is available on the outside. So let that blankness happen. It's fine. It's not just about your attention. You see, but if you remain there, you will find that something which I prefer to call it the soul or Antakarna, is also just starting to collect and settle. You see, on the inside. Try now for 2 minutes, we have time. I know that you're like looking at you right now, I feel like your prime motivation would be to say, now let me solve it here first, and then I will take it home and then I can do it, or something, hopefully, the second part. No? So, but that's not my encouragement to you. Get a taste of what I'm saying. then you won't need to really solve it much.
I mean, what I've truly understood with a lot of experience is that intellectually we cannot obviously, get to anywhere.
Try karo. Turn it. The blank cannot be that nourishing that we are able to remain there for even this long. No? So what happened? See,
Um, so, so there is an awareness of, started with awareness of just the breath and, feelings in the body, and then initially more thoughts, but over a period of time, it just like become quieter and quieter.
yes, kept getting quieter. That kept getting quieter is what I'm saying. The settling of the Antakarna. And then we come to a point which is so silent and still. That point is what I call the doorway to the heart temple. Devachi Yadware, Ubhashana Bhari, or the Gyaneshwar ji said that if we stay in that doorway of God's temple in our heart, then all the liberations are available to us. So that's it. It's as simple as that. You see, but you see how we can't do it there. Like no matter what we try and understand there, till we don't taste it, then we can't really try and understand.
Thank you, Father.
So welcome. But be aware that your mind will say nothing happened. You see, because what will it make out of that which is absent of perception? You see? Beyond even absence or presence of perception. You'll say, what are you talking about? What doorway of God? What are you talking about? I didn't see any doorway. You see, it'll resist that way. But this is just like the one who was not invited to the party complaining about the party. Like, what do you know what happened in the party? You weren't there. You see, you're just speculating. So the mind is just speculating because by definition, in that stillness, we have left the mind behind. So what you call quieter and quieter is the quietness of the mind. It's a very natural process. And the more that you cook with a spiritual tool that your heart resonates with, the more juice you will have to just fall into that inner stillness. So starting from the turning inwards, now we have left all worldly things which could help us in the world. Like money cannot buy us a moment of inward turning. A healthy body cannot buy us a moment of inward turning. The best partner cannot buy us a moment of inward turning. All of this, now we have left all worldly mechanisms. Whatever we may consider ourselves to be in the world is of no use at this point. So that itself is the beginning of humility. What is the point of being some special someone in the world, sir, this and that, when it doesn't do anything, when I'm trying to get to God Himself who lives there? Take the mic. Don't.
Father, is that also like an ending of desire in some way?
Absolutely.
Like you don't feel...
For that moment,
Yeah.
at least for that moment, we cannot carry any desire in there. Because we left the mind out. And desire is the primary function of the mind.
Yes. Father, can that desire also perpetuate into, not having that desire also perpetuate, not in the moment itself where we are standing at the door, but also when you're doing mundane stuff, otherwise you'll be occupied with desires of this and that, and I want this, I want that. But that also ceases to exist in some way after a point.
Yeah, it loosens up a lot.
Yeah.
Every time you turn in, the grip of desire and attachment in our life is loosening up a lot.
Father, I have a very silly question,
No,
but when we were doing this exercise, or seeming exercise, the idea that bhakti is doing something like listening or doing japam just disappeared.
Exactly.
Right? Like it just disappears.
Yeah.
And then that's the moment of realization that God is, doing the japa inside you, or even in this way. Because you don't see this identity as
Yes.
a whole.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm able to, but yeah, this is...
And this will deepen, and I'm sure it's already deepening more and more. Where initially it may seem like my japa was effortful,
Yeah.
with words, with verbal effortful, which itself is very beautiful. No? Hari mukhe manya punyachi ganana kaun kare. Just taking God's name, like Gyaneshwarji starts by saying, just taking God's name is so much merit that you can't even fathom. So much spiritual depth that you can't even fathom. Then as we deepen into it, he says, but if you're not saying it with bhav, then you really, it builds us up. And then he says, okay, now insert love into it, love for God, do it out of love. And then later on he says, much later on he says, those who do it with his presence itself, those are the really rare ones, beautiful ones. Yeah? So he's given us the whole spiritual project in that way, where initially he seeds it into us, that if we just keep doing it with our mouth also, then it's a beautiful, very beautiful process. Then he tries to make it deeper. In a way, he tries to add some vitamins to the process by saying, do it with as much love as you can. Do it with bhava, do it with emotion, bring as much of yourself into it. And then he goes from vitamins to steroids, and he says that do it feeling his presence in your heart, with his presence in your heart. You see? So in this way, our life then progresses from like a verbal japa to becoming effortful in the mind, seeming like I am doing it, then becoming a japa in the mind, where you just hearing it happen, watching it happen in some way. Then it falls into the heart, and you feel like here my Atma itself is loving to pray, loving to take God's name, you see. And then it just becomes so beautiful that you're immersed in the Atma's prayer to God and you're just witnessing that. It's like you're sitting in a temple where the priest is praying and you're just inhaling all of that beauty. You see? So a lot of depth to this which seemed like a very mechanical process.
Father, the
And
process.
it's not Coca-Cola. Sorry. So I don't know if you saw that post where it was another teacher who said that with any phrase you can say Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, and then that you will never come to your Atma chanting Coca-Cola. Unless you're supremely in love with Coca-Cola. I doubt it very much.
Father, although it's not a linear process, is something that I've experienced. As in, it will, of course, it's a lifetime project. So obviously, the process doesn't feel like linear in that progression. In some ways.
Yeah, because even if you look at what we just said, like we can do effortful japa. The rest has to happen in His will, in His timeline, by His grace only. We cannot say, now I've done it so much, now it has to become a japa. No. Like that, it's all a process of deepening in humility. No? Like we feel entitled, now I've taken Lord's name 10 million times. By now it should have fallen into my heart. No, if it's not God's will, it won't. If it is God's will, then the first time itself will happen in the heart. All of this is a process of grace. You see? So we have never any reason for spiritual pride. Like spiritual pride is like a misnomer. See, if spirit is doing it, what is the pride? If spirit is not doing it, it's not spiritual. So there is no such thing as spiritual pride. It is pride about spiritual concepts that we may know. You see? Because if everything, the bus driver drove from here to Tiruvannamalai, and you got off the bus and said, I was driving well, no? You see, what did you do? All you did is get on the bus, which is to turn inwards. You see?
Father, I have one more question.
Please keep asking.
Father, when, let's say Maya attacks or there's an anxious recurring thoughts and you see it but you're not able to surrender in the moment. However, sometimes surrender happens.
Yes.
And could you shed some light on that? Like, when you, the seeming you can surrender and not, because I feel there is a attached me to when not surrendering.
Very good.
Whereas when surrendering, then the ownership shifts to the Atman.
Yes.
Father, so I want you to shed some light on that, because sometimes you just see it like maybe it's the spiritual me saying, oh, I see this or whatever, but it's not even in that conversational lens, Father. But sometimes you just feel an ease of like, oh,
Thank you very much for asking this question. In fact, so we touched upon it, and then, as is my favorite thing, I jump very quickly past it. So thank you for asking this question, because this is maybe the main point I felt to make. So I would have forgotten it if you hadn't asked. So what is the main point? The main point is that in the process of turning inwards, when we are trying to actively turn inwards, the mind is saying what? Can you say from your own experience? Huh?
There is no advantage, there is no use of this.
There's no use. What is the benefit? You have other things to do. What about your responsibilities? Maybe you can do more fruitful thing. Maybe you can watch a movie and enjoy yourself instead of wasting time. Maybe whatever, all these temptations can come. You see? Now, so that push-pull is there. You had the intention of being inward facing. You said, I have 1 hour free. I'll just stay with God. Or we determine at the start of the day that my whole day will go with God today. And then like me at the end of the day, I look at hundreds of moments where I left him. No? So it happens in all our lives. So when we are carrying this intention of turning inwards, Maya exerts itself in this way through the mind saying, no, there is something in the world you have to do. There is something. Of course, many times events themselves start sometimes to jump up, like a lot of events happening, but events by themselves don't have any force on us, don't have a hold on us. It is when events get mixed with the narrative, then they become compelling. You see, there is no such thing as a compelling event. It is the compelling story of the event which makes us turn outwards. You see? So when we are sitting there, the mind is saying, oh, this important business contact was going to send me a message. Should I just check on that first? You see? Whatever, like the girl that I want to talk to, she would have sent a message. You see, like this kind of depending on our stage of life and what we want at that stage or in that day also, in that moment also. So those 4 categories of relationship, health of body, money and conceptual understanding, those can call to us in the form of temptation. You see, sometimes they can be thoughts of betterment, sometimes they can be thoughts of despair, sometimes they can be thoughts of despondency. You see, there is no point to this, I will never make it, this is not happening, my life is not ripe for this or right for this, whatever. So that is the heat in the spiritual process. No? Yeah? So the tapas is brought to us because our intention is because we've been informed that Atma Darshan is possible, to meet with God is possible. We want to be inward facing. In the narrative of the mind and the play of the world, which collectively is called Maya, it is pulling us in the outer direction. You see? Now, Swami Ramsukdaji said that tapasya means to remain joyful in our inward turning. To remain joyful in our inward turning, even when the heat of Maya is upon us. You see? Saying, why don't you do that? You know, why? Finish this thing first. You do this thing and you're just... Your family is fighting with you because you're being a loser. All of these things happen, no? In our spiritual life. Like everybody around you is saying, what are you doing? You're wasting your life. Become somebody. All of these things are happening. And sometimes we don't need someone else. Our own mind is enough to oppress us so much. You see? So to go through the heat of all of that and to have that remembrance of God, to have that remembrance means when we remember He is here, then the joy, the wonder, the love is naturally part of that remembrance of His here-ness, isn't it? So that is the joy that He's talking about. And we continue to remember His here-ness, even though everything in front of in our lives, in front of our eyes, may be just oppressive, seem oppressive, but for us to take the heat of that and stay with God's presence, that is what is the burning force of our conditioning. Our vasanas, our conditions, our grooves which lead us to the me, our mental grooves which lead us to the me, are burnt in that process. So it's very much, you can compare it to withdrawal symptoms. So if you were addicted to something and then you let go of that, then you face the withdrawal symptoms. So we are having withdrawal symptoms of this me. You see, the mind is pulling you back into that me. It says, this is so nice. You know, it becomes, sometimes we were just talking about with someone, with a sister in the morning, and we were saying that how sometimes just to be in despair can become like a comfort zone. It feels like home because I've been there so often, so long. You see? Or just me seems like familiar territory. This turning inwards and Atma Gyan and Atma Darshan and Samadhi, you know, who knows these things? You see, forget, just let's lead this life. Just lead this life. Why get into all this? Who gets, it's not for us. You see, all this is sold to us. So to go through that selling process is like hearing the pitch from the salesman. but not touching your wallet. No? You're just like, so that is tapasya. You're hearing the pitch, you should be like this would be better, this is not right, this is good, this is bad. All that pitch is coming, you are not touching your wallet.
In the heat, Father, you said that find the joy in turning to God. But so in the heat, I've noticed that the capacity is there to choose God or to go with the.
Yeah. Now choose God, but don't find joy.
So
Do
that's
it.
what I was coming to. In
Do
the
and
heat,
show.
wait, Father.
Yeah, do.
Listen.
Waiting.
In the heat,
Yeah.
when it's really on fire, I have the capacity to choose God, but I am not in the heat. That joy, I can choose God.
Choosing
Then you're
even
saying
more.
that's Marial,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But in that heat, how do you become that AV?
Ramji comes in front of you, joy will come or not in the heat?
ठंडा हो जाएगा.
Huh?
ठंडा हो जाएगा.
Exactly. So then that's the main thing, no? That's the main thing. That choose and then choose deeper and remember
Then
more
it's
and
not
praise
tapasya, no,
more.
Father.
Yeah.
Then
Huh?
the heat is gone, no, Father, in that moment.
If so, the process of from
yeah.
heat to joy is
I hear
tapasya.
it, yeah, okay.
You see, so we keep at our tapasya till we come to Anandamaya, Vismayatapoon, Vismayapoon and Premamaya.
Yes.
You see, it is full of joy, full of wonder, full of love.
That process is.
That is the tapasya. So we take the heat and turn it into wonder, we turn it into love, we turn it into joy. We don't turn it, you know what I mean? It turns into, because his here-ness carries these fragrances. You see? His here-ness carries these fragrances. Okay? This answered your question also? Yes.
In that here-ness, the joy, the happiness, you also see the maybe someone who's harmed you even with love, no, Father. Even in that here-ness, you feel that you love someone you didn't like before, or someone caused you harm. I mean, for me, when I encountered that initially, like in the moment, I was like, how is that even possible?
Absolutely.
But
So
the
these are
mind
the things
cannot
that are
fathom.
burning. Because our naturalness is love. You see? Then our grievances are burnt in our tapasya, in our spiritual practice. What is tapasya? Practice. Spiritual practice. So in our practice, all these resentment, grievances, hatred, anger, all these are being burned. Separation, difference, all of these.
Thank you, Father. So sweet. Thank you.
Can we try and increase this a little bit more? I don't know if my hearing is leaving in my old age or check. Too much echo or it's okay. It's okay for now.
Father, when we go within and we come, I'm just going to share how it was today. I want to see with you that when I just leave all, when I put the me aside and I just don't go continuously with its narratives and
absolutely,
and I feel the pull inside. I started it off. I feel the paralysis in God. I don't know how else to say it. Fully.
Like you're pulled in and you don't have any faculties in your control now. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm able to really follow and hear and be. And then that time I'm in a very deeply quiet, deeply, even very far from that actively loving Radharani, or the taste of love that
Yeah.
usually if I'm reading or chanting
Yeah.
or I mean even to say a Radha is just not happening.
Yeah.
And I mean and I don't I want help over there.
Yeah. So that is why the idea of cooking and eating is helpful. No? So all our remembrance of Radharani, all our remembrance of her beauty, grace, love, bhakti, all of that is feeding into our remaining naturally quiet and still, where all of these outer faculties seem so distant now.
So when you are saying that the flavor of God is love or
Yes.
what else did you say?
Love, wonder, and
Wonder.
love, wonder, and joy.
Joy. But I'm also like very far from all, like I'm so quiet to even be in
Yeah.
those flavors
Yeah.
at that moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's
Yeah.
a different kind of
Because
like
these are the outpourings from
Yeah.
there. Now you're at the center of the abyss. You're at the center of the source. So all of these things are there. Like it's the very place where all love comes from. But it is not necessarily the tasted, felt love.
So if I did like a Radha in that moment with, and I tried it, like if I invoked Radha Rani, then all that could gush out, and then if I didn't, I'd like like that.
You see, but there's just being there. Are you clamoring for any of the taste of anything? Nothing at all. Exactly.
Like I was seeing that its closest is like when I don't know how to say, when there's nothing. And yeah.
And when you're there, then one tip for you is that leave all agency aside.
Yeah.
Let her only do what she wants.
Can you say more on that?
Yes, like even like the intention to taste this or to like to do anything at all.
Yeah.
Because these can sometimes be like attempts to deepen or something like this.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
You've done your part of it.
I can't really do over there, but I'll be careful.
Exactly.
Like I'm so, yeah.
Just so empty of all faculty, control over any faculty.
Yeah.
And we just handed over our life to God.
Yeah. I have no idea over there, but I know I'm like...
It's holy.
Yeah.
You know it's auspicious. You know it's home.
It's home.
Yeah.
And I know my only job is to not pick up the me if it comes.
If it comes.
That's it. There.
Sometimes just like that. Sometimes Ram Ram Ram. Sometimes who am I? Whatever word.
Yeah.
The more if we are stuck in a more gross way, we use a more gross instrument. You see, if it's just trying to whisper, then we just yeah, like something is coming towards us, like that, with our thoughts. No, when they come in their light, when they come with some deeply held condition, relationship issue, something, then pick up a stronger tool, rather. When it comes, and I'm not making a distinction there, whatever feels like, if it comes really strongly, then whatever feels like a hammer, pick up the hammer. Always light. Sometimes when we just notice that I'm getting caught in this, noticing itself, we pull back. We don't even need to. I'm really enjoying this conversation today, I have to say, because we are getting to the heart of the matter as practitioners of learning to love God. as practitioners, not just speculators. No? Now you're not just speculating on, oh, so how is God? Is he like this or is he like that? What is the nature of God? What is the nature of Nirguna Brahman? Let's taste it. Let's taste it.
Father, so that so I don't know how to ask this. That quiet is where we have to be, right? It's not lacking anything if there's, because the outpouring I'm so used to, and when it's so then because yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it is quite unsettling. The mind can always doubt it. You see, I've been at this 28 years now, and the mind can still doubt it. You see, because for it nothing is happening. In the quietude, in the stillness, were you at the right place? Right? What is to say? Who can convince the mind? Yes, I was at the right. Both are speculating. You see? So that's why it's a faithful process. It needs a lot of faith. Like she said, surrender. It needs a lot of surrender. Just, I don't know if I'm doing anything right, but my intention is to love you, Lord. My intention is to live with you. My intention is to find place at your feet. Or my intention is to find the truth about who I am. You see? If your intention is pointed in the right way, everything else will follow from that. Good.
Do I need to press? No, it's working.
Is it orange or green?
It's working.
It's
Can I please complete one more thing? Sorry. Father, that when we are there, we are not able to even articulate, like I'm able to say these things in my chanting time, or that God, like I can communicate with her. But in this, I'm paralyzed in Him.
Yes.
So their faith is like a refining of faith. I don't know how to, like it's a lot of trust, that's
Lot of
needed.
trust. Like to remain in sheer stillness.
Nothing.
It's a very faithful process.
Yeah, isn't it? That time, it's beautiful.
If you don't have faith in God, then that will be very difficult to stay.
Yeah.
And even those paths, like take Zen for example,
Yeah.
if they may not have a outer conceptual belief in God, you see, but then those have great faith in their master.
I was gonna say,
Some
like
faith is
in your
needed to
words.
keep that strength so that we don't shake from that inside.
So for me, what was really helping was that you said that my job is not, Maya is Mayaya.
Yes.
Fathers just said Maya is Mayaya.
Yes.
And then when the Maya is coming, I'm just come like that, that it's
You
not,
just
yeah,
be. Yes, exactly.
quickly,
Exactly.
yeah, that, yeah.
Yeah, quickly.
No, I mean,
Without waiting for rational resolutions to the mind's things, which are like we've spent most of our lives solving non-existent problems.
yeah,
Because the one
definitely.
who's having those problems itself is not there in actuality. So most of our life has been spent in the mind's creation of narratives, problematic, non-problematic, going from problematic to non-problematic. So we waste a lot of this time in solving non-existent problems. Then when we've now just learning that I don't need to first come to a rational resolution of
anything.
Anything, if it has to be solved, is better solved with God. No?
Yeah, just
Just like the mind will say, "Nee, first, what about this? You see, she talked to me like this. Now, is that the right way to behave? Huh? To resolve it along with God. No, I'm not saying you are thinking that. I'm saying that these kind of silly things will come in our lives. You know, some spammer will call and he'll say that this is something. Then the mind will say, this spamming problem is really increasing in the country. You are not going to do anything about it. You know, just wasting time. You can't and you won't do anything about it. So just leave that. Just turn to God. Even if you were going to do something about it, it's better done with God's presence. Isn't it? So if we start to notice these things, that how the mind can try to use anything to get us, you know? Especially now, all of us use this term doom scrolling. So in that way, it is like, oh, this is happening, oh, that is happening, this is happening. You know, what does it have to do with anything?
definitely. And also, like, what I want to say, I don't know if it's even, but I want to say, like, I'm so used to chanting. Like, I don't have to ever make an effort nowadays. The chant is like, for me, it happens, all the time. And
Touching.
yeah, but when it switches into this,
The quietude.
yeah,
Yes.
there it's like a new like it's acclimatizing there, and
Exactly.
and I love it. I want to say, I
And
love
so
it.
this is called nididhyasana, this is called contemplative prayer, this is called contemplation and lectio divina. All traditions again have this.
I was shy to say, but I want to say that the closest is like when I'm in deep sleep.
Yes.
That, like in a sleep, I was so awake and so sleep, like so not there and so awake.
Absolutely.
It's stunning, Father. I love it. Thank you.
So,
Thank you. Today I really felt like I just followed inside, And I'm so grateful, like everything you said. I'm so grateful,
that's why I'm
Father.
enjoying this conversation, because I can see that all of you, because you're trying to practice, you're testing it inwardly as it is being said outwardly, not just meeting it at a level of concept.
I'm
Take your time. Don't worry.
coming into the words. In a sense of this description, if I kind of stay in the area or following the area, in the sense of description that we were here.
Of turning inwards and staying in the stillness.
The stillness. So, not just on my own, it can, few years ago it was happening often, anywhere. Now, because I'm quite on my own, or I have a long time, it feels so light that it feels just like the leaving of the body, kind of. Like even the body becomes like a heavy, yeah, like heavy.
Yeah.
So
You can have either. So sometimes you just feel like there's no body. Sometimes you notice that the body is like that. So you notice like heaviness or you notice lightness. Either way, we don't leave the stillness.
So here is something that I wanna mention, and what seems that I am kind of causing or repeating. Maybe it's lack of seems of trust,
Seems like trust.
Lack
Of trust.
maybe. So from that feeling, because that was happening many years ago, of just like being on the street and going unconscious kind of variation, that stopped. It went into normal terms. And now it's different. It's like I'm aware I'm leaving. I'm leaving. And that's the closest I can describe.
You're saying living, yes?
Leaving. Yeah.
What? Leaving the body?
Yeah, kind of that feeling. It's
that
so
feeling.
light.
Yes.
It's so peaceful or still so instead of kind of doing that,
Yes.
I'm using my mind as a tool.
Yes.
Or how would that be description? Is it understood? Like, it's like I would use my own mind to pick up something or to actually more solve in these times I'm solving something, which is then kind of leaving that
so that
solving.
You don't get a sense that you're leaving this body, you are attaching yourself to something grosser, so that you feel like you are stable.
Yeah, or loving, even like loving, attaching, solving, doing. It's like I'm kind of doing reverse or something. Is it like a reverse thing? It's really, that is kind of the closest description I would maybe go with. And then I'm trying to solve it, which seems but at one point it's like a dance between these two, and then at one point I also don't want that because it's not light anymore, and then that one is really light. So it's like do you understand? Or is it like, or am I getting some it's like such a thin line there on there. What would be here? Is it?
Sometimes what happens for some of us is that we start to get a taste of reality almost spontaneously. So sometimes I refer to that as that God gives us the gift first. You see? So sometimes we start to get a taste of that just very naturally in very simple ways. And then our taking of the medicine or doing the sadhana, which usually people would do first, then comes as a second step.
Yeah, for example, if not always, I also go when I some kind of difficulties or praying or whatever that might be. But sometimes it's just so natural light. If I would just go more lighter,
I hear
so
you.
I need to do something like, or I feel to do it. It's not like I need to. I just kind of spontaneously go do something heavily or solving something or someone or whatever. So I'm involved then in, and things like that, which gives me, like I was telling you, I'm kind of rumbling and digesting, and it gives me that kind of, I'm aware of attachment, but it's a purpose attachment. It's like I attached on purpose, because if I don't, that's it. So I'm doing the reverse thing. I'm not going from that angle. Is it? Or I'm just like...
No, I hear you, because...
Go.
No, it's fine. So, I don't know whether you will be open to taking my advice on this, but my advice would be to take one spiritual tool, and really deepen in that spiritual tool, although it is more difficult for you. I'm openly saying that because once you got a taste of it almost spontaneously, then to use a tool then seems like, you've got used to a self-driving car, Now you're saying, okay, gear 1, gear 2, so then that can seem like it is not, it is like a regression, but it actually isn't. So my advice for you would be, take your favorite spiritual tool, which is time tested, not some newfangled stuff, which is time tested for thousands of years. Use that spiritual tool for a few days, weeks, months, and then you will see that you find more steadiness, more stability, more remaining in God's presence. Otherwise, what happens is that it can feel like I'm leaving the body. There can come some fear about that. Then say, okay, how do I stabilize? Then we try to stabilize. Then the method we're using to stabilize starts to become oppressive. Then you say, okay, now I will loosen up. So, is there any spiritual tool, practice, sadhana which appeals to you?
For me now, the spiritual tour or sadhana became like helping on the street.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Like it's just.
That's beautiful.
Like
But
that's where I am with God. That's
yeah,
why
selfless service
I
is beautiful.
kind of do it in a way.
Yeah.
The most in a sense.
Seva or selfless service is very beautiful spiritual tool.
Though, like I said, then because I.
So how many hours are spent in that?
Well, now I'm doing also the traveling and up and down. But before, hours, days, morning to evening, afternoons. I mean, whenever I'm called, however I'm called.
Even while you do it, does it allow space to take God's name, or does it allow for any self-inquiry during the process of seva?
No, there is no kind of self-inquiry, because there is just not. There is nothing to inquire. You're just in the.
Okay, what about God's name?
Yeah, when there is kind of sufferings around me, yeah, then it's.
Why not just take it even when you're serving or helping?
That's what I'm saying. Yes, because it's like.
No, not wait for suffering.
Yeah.
Just preemptively.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. Yeah. Also, where I'm trying to kind of like. I go, like you were already mentioning, I go from the light one to the heavy one. But there it's kind of more a middle ground. Because if I go to the light one, completely the light one, I don't kind of, it's happening. It's not by even prayer or it's just like that. And then I substitute it on purpose. I'm completely aware of it's not on by mistake, but it's just like a little bit, and then that what I attach myself kind of it becomes bigger and bigger, and then it's big and heavy, and I can't kind of drop it, but I know that it's like that.
Yes,
and then I go back to the light one, and then I cannot be in the light one because I have the big one. So here I am kind of like,
I hear you. So, see, we can never really fully understand each other. Let's admit that in the human condition, especially using words and all that, we can't fully. But if you have the sense that I have a sense of what you're saying, and I'm offering some advice based on that sense. Now that sense could be way off, and therefore the advice could be way off also. But in terms of the construct that is playing out at the moment, where we're playing the construct of teacher and student, or teacher and disciple, then in that construct, my job is to get a sense of what is happening with you, take that to my heart and offer the heart guidance that is coming from here. No? Am I Am I good at it? Is it going to help? I don't know. Like that only time will tell. But my advice for you would be to, if self-inquiry is not appealing, take your favorite name of God, and even as you're serving these children, these street puppies and dogs and all of these, you're doing beautiful service for them. Just keep taking God's name as much as you can. You see? I know that many times the medicine that we want to get from the doctor is not the medicine that the doctor gives us. You see? But the doctor is also caught in their own understanding and their own conditioning. So but this doctor has this medicine to give. So then, but no doctor can force the patient to take it, and no doctor is always right also. So I'm not saying that I'm right. You just have to take it to your own heart and see what to do with that.
Why in general such even more why such a lack of trust, like so deeply in
So the medicine I'm giving will help
because,
with that.
Yeah, with that trust,
You want the effects of the medicine but not the medicine.
yeah, but all changes with the all changes
Yeah,
with
so
the trust.
if you take the medicine, you may get some of the benefits of it. Trust, faith, devotion, all of these things are very likely with remembrance of God by taking His name.
It's just strange that we have kind of inside of us this lack of trust.
Yes.
It's strange.
There is nothing inside of us which is not strange.
Instead that we have
everything is strange.
Instead that we have this complete trust.
Yes.
It's strange that it's the lack instead of that complete trust. Yes. I found it really strange. I mean, even with daily things we hear.
Strange. So trust and faith, even more so. Faith is almost unheard of, actually. Isn't it? Because faith in the world is also mostly misunderstood.
So the attaching part, would it be just to leave it?
If you take God's name, then it will settle, is my feeling. But you have to try it. The extremes of leaving and getting too heavy, those extremes will steady if you settle with your favorite name of God.
So it's like a bipolar extreme thing.
Huh?
Like duality extreme on kind of to kind of come to the null, to the zero.
This also, my feeling is that no matter how much you understand about the condition, that will not help the condition.
Yeah, again it flips into.
So we can keep trying to understand the condition, but it will not help. At one point, I hope Jyotima won't mind my saying this, at one point we were getting so much advice about our heart condition, and it just felt like now we don't need to know more at all. We got a good doctor, we trust the doctor, he knows what is to be done. Why do we need to know so much? We only needed to reach that point of trust with the doctor, isn't it? So once we reach the point of trust with the doctor, he knows what he's doing. Why should I know which ventricle, which percentage block, which this thing? It just, gets more stress into this. So let's just trust the doctor and Go with that. Isn't it? Like, how will it help to say then in this condition, then this is how this condition is, and this could be the thing. And you see, sometimes you just say, I trust the doctor, I'll take the medicine, let me see what happens. Like, these are the times where it's like tuk 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 tuk. It's like your move. Tuk tuk.
Yeah, it's kind of in that this burning process of kind of seeing that everything is not permanent. But that also means that we kind of burn each other. Like you do burn people around you, or they burn you, because it's all not permanent. To come to the permanent God. But that means we are just, we cause each other pain and burning and...
That's why I'm saying that we can observe, but we don't get necessarily too much into that means. Because the construct that we will build about what that means will never be complete. At best it will be incomplete, at worst it will be sheer rubbish. At best, if it is incomplete, what is the benefit? Instead, you have a truer source of knowledge, which is God's presence. Isn't it? So you notice correctly that when we are part of someone's life, or anyone is part of our life, a part of that role is going to be that burning as an effect of Maya. That is correct. But if we stretch that too much and make like a global meaning out of it, then we will rely on our intellect more than our intellect is capable of reliance. We have to rely on our heart. You see, because very quickly otherwise we can come to conclusions like all human relationships are pointless, I should live in a cave, or even a cave can burn me, so I have to find some vacuum where I can live. So then there's no end to that intellectualization. There's no end to intellectual conclusions which will not really solve the problem. The problem can only be solved by the Atma within, by the Holy Spirit in our heart. So we have to rely on that. Did we come to this point last time where we talked about the Atma or the Holy Spirit? See, I'm basically a one-trick pony. Or like there's a doctor in Haridwar, not doctor really, he goes around on a cart and he says, if you have cough, cold, heart trouble, acidity, everything, take this pill and you'll be fine. So all I have is this pill, Atma Gyan, Atma Darshan. That's my only, that's the only trick this pony has. So one way or the other I'll keep pointing to that. But there are many ponies. You don't have to go to the one trick one if you don't like the trick. Isn't it? I want my trick from this pony only. Is it like that? You are my pony, but I will want my trick to come. Is it like that?
Father, can you sense Can you sense according to every personality what is the right pill for them?
What is the right?
Pill.
What is the right pill? I have only one pill, like honestly.
No, but I mean self-inquiry or repeating God's
no,
names.
I don't have sense like that. when the question comes or someone comes, then I just wait for heart guidance, and I just pray that Ananta's learned knowledge doesn't get in the way of heart guidance, and I try to be an instrument of the Atma with as much integrity as possible. Do I always succeed? No, because many times I operate from Ananta mode. So the attempt is to reduce that. And so does the Atma know what to provide for anyone that comes in front? I have full faith that it does. Am I always a faithful servant of the Atma? No, I have a long way to go.
So you can energetically feel when it's coming from the heart or from the mind?
I don't energetically feel. It's like a layer deeper than energy. No? It's like intuitive knowledge. You can't really say although I mean sometimes we may use that term, but it's not really energy.
So when you don't get a clear answer from the Atma, you prefer to say something knowing that it's not coming from the heart, rather than saying that you don't know, for instance?
I feel like I've often wondered at this actually. I've often wondered at this, that how is it that many times, like there have been many times where I feel like I have no idea what kind of answer to give this one. And the Atma in Satsang has very rarely, I don't recall a time where it is said, no, I don't have an answer for you at the moment. You see? Now, of course, there is a danger that maybe in those times I'm just using Ananta knowledge, but honestly, my attempt is to never do that. My intention is to never do that. Am I falling? Could I be getting into pride? Possible, but the attempt here is to be fully vigilant to that.
I'm sorry, I don't want to put you in the corner.
Please. No, this is very good. You must speak honestly about it. My job is to take spirituality and make it full of just honesty, openness, vulnerability, share without any filters. So yes, I see that many times I still see a lot of Ananta here, like a lot of Ananta who's sitting with that teacher condition. So it's constant work to at least, you know what my prayer is? My prayer really is that, Lord, I know I'm very foolish, and I don't know, it may be the whole lifetime I'll be very foolish, but that is nobody else's fault. You see, that is not the questioner's fault, that is not the fault of anyone who's attending satsang. So for their sake, please give me the answer in my heart so that I can be a worthy instrument of you, at least while satsang is being shared. And don't let this foolish man's conditioning get in the way. And he has lifted me up so much. He lifted me up so much. Like, there are so many things which a question was asked in satsang. The answer came from here without any previous conceptual knowledge of that answer. And then that answer has become like such an important part of my life, of my practice, of my loving God. So may I never lose this humility that what is coming from the heart here is as much for me as for everyone else who's hearing as well. It's guidance for me to follow first.
Father, I want to add that I cannot decipher whether it's coming from Ananta or the Atma when you speak.
Yeah.
So just to say that even if it's coming from Ananta, there is so much wisdom and kindness and humility that I really feel that there is absolutely nothing to criticize or to blame for you, Father. So, yeah, and thank you so much for
I
your...
hear you. And actually the burden is not on the hearer. The burden is not on the disciple. The burden, no disciple must be burdened with having to decipher whether this came from Ananta or it came from the heart. The burden always must reside in the heart of the teacher itself. Like their vigilance must be full on. You see? Because it is too much of an ask. You're hearing someone that you trust so deeply, you love so deeply, and from there, if you're hearing, you have to sit and say, no, this, no, that, then very easily you will get into like a judgmental mode. Your mind will use that to trap you. So the onus is completely on me. You see? Because your dharma is to offer full trust. My dharma is that I never betray that trust.
Yeah, I understand what you mean, but I don't feel any burden.
No, I know.
Always.
I know. You were saying that even if it comes from Ananta's learned conditioning, it is full of wisdom, and I'm very grateful for you for saying that. But the attempt here is that nothing can match what comes from the Atma. And the minute I start to take what I think I know too seriously, it will contaminate that holiness of the heart. You see? But your part of the bargain you're doing perfectly by offering your trust. It is needed. But I'm well aware that there's a potential for pride, there's a potential to latch on to learned knowledge, especially if the questions are similar to what have been asked for so many years. So then it becomes like a groove to return to those answers. So can I be fresh and empty and open to hearing the Lord's guidance in the heart and offering that? That is the task.
So do you feel that it's like a kind of effort to really be completely empty in satsang when we ask you questions and guidance?
We can call it effort, we can call it sadhana, we can call it practice. It's part of my spiritual practice. You see? It's just part of how all our lives are, that we have to remain with spirit no matter what is coming. It is a continuation of that practice here as well.
I feel we're so blessed to have such an authentic being in front of us.
Like, can we really say? Can we really say? It's my hope that God has kept me on the right track. Can we really say? I don't know. You doing that? La crying.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, we can't make out whether it's going towards laughter or crying.
It's a great one. It's a great feeling,
Yeah, it's very
we
zen.
don't know where it's going.
Zen. You're open either way. Lord, take me where you will.
But it's it's a beautiful feeling. Actually, it's love and it's a sweet emotion. Thank you so much.
Like, so many things have been cooking in the mind, Father, like to come up and ask this, ask that and all, like just smart things I feel. And I'd made a pact, like 2 months I don't want to ask a question, like, let's just stick with the answer, like let's just keep praying, no questions. And I felt even this can be a trap, like not come up and talk to you and all stuff. But now I just felt like sharing something, Father, like the cooking and eating part was going on. I like to cook a lot, and I don't like to eat. Like the thing is, I feel I'm tasting while I'm cooking only,
Yeah.
and I like the cooking to keep going, and I like to eat there and all. And one day I felt like, no, I should stop the cooking and start eating. And what happened was, like, it was so weird. Like, I sat for maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and then I find myself in the kitchen at 4 a.m.
Okay.
making bhel puri for myself.
Yes.
It's so unusual.
Send some over next. No.
No, like, it happened to become a different eating at that time. Like I like.
So you were attempting to get into the stillness, into the silence, and not just stay with the chanting or with the name. And while in the process of doing that, you just felt like, I'm too hungry, let me make myself a snack, or it just happened?
No, it just didn't happen like that. It was more like I picked it up, like I was just sitting idle and I was liking that. And then I felt like maybe I should just have some snack.
Yes.
And then I got out. I was still in that zone while I was chopping onion, while I was chopping tomatoes, whatever was happening around. And then I needed that taste, like, to come out of that cooking, no, Father. I feel it's very shaky thing for me. Like, at times I feel like to just sit in that stillness, if I don't have that word with me, it's very not natural is what I feel. And you talking about cooking and eating, that used to get me a lot of key. If you're not cooking and not eating, that used to come. And in the kitchen, I don't know how I landed there, but I went, and then I really wanted that taste to my tongue. Like, it's not usual of me going to the kitchen at 4 a.m. I was talking to Meera and maybe Ishu also about this, but I don't know, Father. Like, is eating, like, while just cooking, eating is fine, Father? Or?
Yeah. If you feel like. So my advice usually is that don't make any stress about it. Don't do any stress about it. If you're cooking, if you're doing your name, if you're doing focus prayer for, let's say you've done for 1 hour, then just give yourself 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes to just sit. And if that within 2 minutes it becomes too distracted and difficult, forget it, leave it for the next time. You've done well. You've taken God's name for 1 hour, already it's very good. So what I caution against is that just keeping charge all the time of the spiritual process. You see, so when they're cooking, we're saying Ram, 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 Ram. It seems like I'm driving. You see, I'm driving. And then we get a signal from the mind, or we feel like over. No? We never actually gave the car to God. So just at least for a few moments, few minutes, we hand over and we just do with me as you please. I belong to you. That's the spirit. You can say those things if you want, actually. But then we just hand over the driving for as long as it lasts. You see, and we don't judge ourselves. We don't say only 1 minute, only 5 minutes, only. No judgment like that. Just a handing over. Because you don't know what he will do at the wheel. And he will not force the wheel. You see? So just say, now yours. Even if it lasts 10 seconds. Don't end your sadhana without that. That's all. And then see what happens naturally. Oh, lots of hands. Okay. Okay, let's go to Georgie. So, can you remind me next time? We'll do one question from the room and one from online. One question from online. then
Okay.
that will.
Yeah, well, we weren't able to turn on our mics today, so we couldn't let you know.
No, I'm saying from next time we make this
Oh,
rule.
okay.
We make this
Okay.
rule that we will take one question from in the room. Unless something is naturally flowing, I'll say something. But just if you could give me a reminder that
Okay.
we'll alternate.
It was very, very, very beautiful to be here for the whole conversation, especially at the beginning and the guidance that came. And thank you for being so relentless in your effort, Father. And yeah, yeah. I just wanted to take a moment to ask you and the Sangha to bring my mom to all of our hearts, because today she was taken to her new home, and she just left her home of the last 50 years, and she's a very sensitive one, and so it's going to be quite a transition for her. And I just wanted to bring her to this place because I realize this is where we can be the most of service for her, not worrying about her, not even needing to. I realized I had this hidden belief that I needed to feel, because I have such a strong connection with her, that that empathy, that I needed to feel her feelings or something, and that's not how I serve her. It's by really listening to you and taking her to this space. And I just wanted to ask you and everyone to bring her here.
By God's grace, may this move, may this transition bring so much beauty, peace, love, joy into her life. May she not feel the pinch, the suffering of leaving a home of 50 years. May she feel that she is taken care of and loved. May it be full of auspiciousness, holiness, God's grace. Bless her, bless her.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Father.
You're welcome. How is Messi doing? I said
I
said
couldn't turn it on. He's always good. from my
Always.
perspective. But what do I know?
This one you
He's a,
know.
yeah, he's the reason I watch all the games.
I know you're a big Messi fan.
Yeah, he's something
She was
else.
walking the streets last time when they won. No?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a big deal here. I'm actually meeting some Sangha tonight for the game.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, there's gonna be a game tonight, so yeah.
I haven't
Thank you,
seen a
Father.
single one this time. Maybe
Oh,
closer to the finals. But
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Father.
not much. Okay, let's go to Satyam.
Hello, Father.
Hello, my love.
Can you hear me? Is audible?
I can hear you. Yeah?
Okay. Father, there has been a kind of it's a new chapter of my life where the name is taking a lot of momentum on its own.
Good.
It's,
That's very beautiful. Very good.
yeah, it's I this was the part I think the missing puzzle, if I can say that. It was so, and you are the initiator of through you or whatever you through you. I'm not a master of these kind of words. Whatever you through you, yes, through you. This was initiated, and then of course my attention starts to pick up on Mahadevki from Ram Surat Kumar, her videos, and more and more confirming
Yeah.
that. That all is happening according to the divine plan or God's plan. And
Very good.
and then looking at my own life, how these openings happened, and the veil was lifted, and then veil got down. Seemingly, the veil got down. Even this is you can't know why really,
Yes. It's
because
best to just leave all of that behind. What is true, what was real can never leave you, so it's with you. What is left was never, um, what am I even saying? Was never real. So
yeah,
just, you can just leave that. So stay with the true. You don't need to rely on memory because sometimes these narratives, even about awakenings and losing the awakenings, can become very oppressive after a period of time. Now, you gave me such good news that God's name is taking such momentum in your heart. So, just let all that happened in the past, let it dissolve in God's holy name. And
yeah.
don't.
There are times when I'm not even thinking about it, it's just happening by itself. I'm not questioning it why, or there are thoughts like, oh, you are being mechanical, or, but it's just another chat from the head.
Exactly.
It doesn't really matter, really.
The mechanic talks about our chanting being mechanical.
Yeah, the Joker guy, I would say. In my language, it's the Joker, which comments, and the you know the yeah, the controller. I don't know how to say so many words to that in so many scriptures. There's sometimes there are moments when the wave is very strong and it's saying, Anantaji, like, please make me one with your heart, something like that. There is that yearning very strong in my heart. That please don't let me be alone here. Be one with you.
Yes. All my love, all my blessings are always with you. Always.
somehow this life, this body went through heart attacks and operations and stuff like that. And luckily I was in the euphoria of this insight which happened in Sahaja. It was a honeymoon time for a year for me. So the heart attack happened, and this time I was still with the name in the hospital, contemplating about the... And the funny part is, Father, if I'm taking a lot of time, please tell me and stop me. The funny thing is, I didn't know what a heart attack is.
Yes.
And when it was happening, I had no fear because I didn't know what it is.
Yeah.
That's a funny part.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, I'm just observing. I said, wow, there was no fear because I didn't know what it is. There was pressure in the chest, some indigestion. And but later on, when you have ideas about, you read about it, then the me develops a fear around it. And while it was happening, I think this says something a lot about insight. The mind makes it kind of romanticize it things or make it worse. But while the act is happening, it's very different. You have no idea about it. So it's goes very quick into the judgments about it. So, and later I developed anxiety around it that became an issue. Yeah. When there will be a little pain, I would call the ambulance. Fear.
I see. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yes, it became chronic almost in my case. A little pain here, and I was living in Denmark 3 years ago, so I would call the ambulance. And then, Father, I was also having Zoom meeting with a guy called Isaac Shapiro. Is a man also sharing in meetings. And a day came where I cried in his meeting, and I said, I cannot live with this. My attention is continuously on the arteries, what's happening there. It's really, it became chronic almost. And then he pointed out, he says, well, first of all, he would say, are you doing this on purpose? Then, of course, the answer is, of course, I don't want to create misery for myself. Why would I do this? So then he says, okay, the system is doing this. He uses the word system. So there's an intelligence behind it. So just try to find why the system is doing it. So I sat for 2 hours with that. And then it was the belief was that if I don't worry about it, then I will die.
I see.
So I need to continuously worry about it. So, but then he says, now you are not worried and you are still here. And that cut some belief around, because, that, I don't know, I'm just sharing this, Father, with you.
It's very good. It's very good.
And from that day onwards, the panic became kind of cut with a big dose. And here I am in India, where the place I'm living, Father, in 15 days the river will rise here. There's a river before, and the communication will cut from, you cannot cross the river.
Oh, I see.
And in India ambulance don't come here. So here I am, if something had to happen in the night with the heart. So I don't even think about it right now.
Exactly.
I've just left it to whatever will happen, will happen.
Very good.
I've come to that, because thinking and worrying, it has not happened. So we will see in the moment what will something. So I'm living up to that.
Very good.
So taking now the name, and you have initiated that through your presence, it has started.
Bless
you. I'm here now, and my greatest wish is, I've shared with you that this something wants to this this yearning, Father. This is beautiful in itself, but it kind of longs for a how to say that, it longs to be completed in a way that make me one. That can you relate to that? I'm sure you can relate to that. Yeah, this which doesn't move, and I keep taking the name of the Lord and whatever comes, and thinking
I
of
have
you.
some good news and bad news for you on that front.
Yes, please.
The good news is that the more this longing to be in His divine union, eternal embrace, to be with the beloved, the more the recognition of the oneness comes, the deeper the longing, the deeper the yearning also becomes.
Yes.
So it's something that just eats us up till there's nothing left but God, and yet we enjoy the taste of God and the meeting His holy presence more and more. So it's a ever growing, ever deepening holy longing, which the more it is fed, the more, which is so different in texture to the ways of the mind. The mind is also like that. It desires and it gets, it wants more, it's never satisfied. But this one is so different in texture, although the words may confuse and make it sound similar. It's like a deepening fulfillment, a deepening love, a deepening joy. And you can never say, okay, now this is the extent of it. You know that there's a lot more where that came from. So, it's a very joyful,
Yes.
joyful pain in a way. It's called viraha. It's called
Viraha.
viraha,
Yes.
the pain of viraha. So
Yeah,
joyful indeed.
viraha. Yeah. Of yeah. I think there's some scriptures in India. I think I don't remember who said it, but it's a bhakta's words that please keep always some distance with me so I can keep the viraha going on because it's so sweet. Never come to the end of this viraha. In a way, that's the so sweetness. And I've been listening to a satsang. It's a daily thing for me now. I think you were talking to some devotee in the meeting. She said, you said, if all the desires of the me were fulfilled, and then what? And then you said this dimension of this God's, it's a total different dimension of fulfillment.
Yes.
Because if you were to fulfill all the wishes of the me, still there will be lack. It's never ever, as Winston Churchill probably said, one goddamn thing after another.
Okay, that was not part of the quote.
Yeah, I think it was his words, Winston Churchill, one goddamn thing after another. I don't know in what context he said it, but yeah. Father, do you remember Priya, my niece?
I do remember that she used to join
Yeah.
for a few satsangs. I remember she was here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Father, I'm asking a little prayer from people who like to do that. She is suffering this alcohol, and it's 3 months she has not taken it. Then she slipped into it after 3 months. This girl has gone through. So just asking if someone wants to wish her that this girl comes, and I cannot force her to come to the meetings here, but I can only tell her, just sign her, but she's a little resistant because, but then from different direction, I want to tell her that take the name, but then she's meeting people who are telling her this. So it's not coming from my mouth, but from other people's mouth. So I want that she meets you again, but just a little prayer that this girl, comes out of this. Thank you, Father. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ananta-ji.
You're welcome.
I have no words, Father, to thank you for starting this. And may I keep turning in these sanghas, sat sanghas with you, and may the deceiver be seen every time hopefully I get the courage to open it, and 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 may your grace, His grace, keep on going. Thank you.
Bless you. Thank you. Very good. Very good. Bless you. Bless you. Okay. Let's go to Sharad.
Namaste, Father.
Namaste.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Very good.
Thank you, Father.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Always welcome, my dear. Very good. Very good. Bless you. Bless you. Very good. Thank you. Very good. Okay, let's go to Clarissa.
Hello, Ananta-Ji.
Hello, my love.
Can I ask for your help?
Yeah.
There's a lot of force, and sometimes I can see the force, and sometimes I'm fully in this force, and I am the force. And I try to sit in the morning and in the evening and during the day.
Yeah.
I do the inquiry. I write in the book and try to inquire.
Yeah.
But I can see that I don't. It's very difficult for me to really to focus
I see.
to stay. Then I'm so easily distracted. And
Very difficult. So when you start the self-inquiry, then a lot of distracting thoughts come. Is that what you mean?
there is such a force coming, and it's that I feel that I'm fighting against this force. It's not that I'm able to let it be and to watch it.
I see.
It's this feeling I have to fight. Otherwise, I'm overwhelmed by this force.
I see. So when in the inquiry and some force is coming, are you able to ask the question, who witnesses that force?
I do that. That I ask this: to whom does it come? Who sees it? I am the seer, or this which is seen.
Yeah.
So,
and then
I try to sit and to look without any intention, but I'm easily caught in the seeker who wants to find.
I see. But what is the answer to the question? Who witnesses this force? This
And
I, tell me more about this I.
this I don't know. It's really difficult just to sit and to look. Sometimes I
Because
got
your path is self-inquiry and you're practicing
yeah.
self-inquiry, then we must get to the root. Remember that we are not doing self-inquiry for any other benefit, not for peace, not for joy, not for stability, not for forces not to come, not for mind to change its colors. We are doing it to get to the truth of the matter. Who are you in reality? Are you getting a sense of what I'm trying to say? Otherwise, what will happen is that there are many tricks we will become susceptible to. And I always mention this part because it was very revealing. One child came to me after a few years in Satsang. She said, Father Ananta, please help me because the self inquiry has stopped working for me. And I said, I've never heard such a thing. How can the self inquiry stop working for you? So she said, when I started the self inquiry, the minute I would ask, who am I? Things would become very peaceful and quiet, and I'd be still. And now, if I do the self inquiry, there is no peace, the mind is still noisy. So it stopped working for me. And I said, that is a misunderstanding of what it is meant to do for you. It is not a way to indirectly get peace. It is not a way to come to a particular state. It is to bring us, I don't know what I said at that point of time, now it is coming fresh to say that it is to bring us to that silence, to that stillness where the revelation of who I really am can happen. So it's only about the truth. It doesn't matter what other experiences came along the way. Our job is to only question who witnesses that experience. You see? So don't get oppressed or bullied by these experiences that are happening. Use them as fuel for your self-inquiry itself. And I know that sometimes it may feel very difficult to stay, but if you can remain in those difficult times, then that is the strengthening of the practice. And it is the burning of the old conditioning. So when the mind comes with many ideas, when energies seem to play out, when emotions are all over the place, just see who witnesses that. And if you call that one who witnesses it I, then who is the one that is suffering from all of these experiences? Are there two of you?
Can you repeat it, please? Who is
Yes,
the one
definitely.
who?
I was saying that if you are that which witnesses all of this, which is aware of the perceptions of all of this, and no perception actually touches that which you are, awareness remains untouched by all of this perception, then is there also another you which is actually suffering because of these perceptions, because of these phenomena?
I don't know. I feel that I don't have reached the point where you are speaking from.
Which I is that? The one that doesn't know is which one? See, so I'm providing these questions to help with your self-inquiry because you said that is your practice. Don't settle for any report about the I coming from the mind without questioning who is that. You see? Then you'll break through the false narratives and it will not seem distant from what I'm speaking.
It's I hear you, but I have the feeling that I don't hear you, and that I really have to sit with patience. I have to sit to see.
Yes, we can sit with patience. That's very helpful. But again, on the path of self-inquiry, we don't settle for any report about the I unless we are able to say who is this I. It's quite a relentless path. We don't settle for any false I. We keep, in the light of our looking, we keep returning to that holy place where the revelation of the true I reveals itself. But if you buy any narrative about this I, it'll become like a block, it'll become like an obstacle. Will you make a report about this next week when we meet? I'll be happy to hear what's happening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go to Sajan.
Hi, Father.
Hello, my love.
Thank you. Um, I looked at, I wanted to ask you something about self-abidance
Yes.
and recognition and self-recognition. Because in the self-recognition, I'm quite used to being all in about it.
Being?
Being all in.
All in, yes.
And it's more easy to quantify somehow. It's more easy to feel like that, yes, when you touch God somehow, or you touch the truth about you or about the world.
Yes.
But then in the self-abidance, in abidance, although the intention I feel is genuine here to abide at all times, I can't read it so well also. I don't know what it means how does it look to abide? Sometimes I'm not sure if my mind is convincing me that I'm not abiding or if it's really not abiding during the day, because sometimes you have to do this or that. So it's not always that palpable sense like, okay, now God is here and
I see.
the truth is clear.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you want to share something on um, this, how to tell if you are abiding in other ways than just, I mean, if you take the name, then you can say, okay, as long as I'm taking the name, then I'm focused towards God.
Yeah.
That's a bit what I'm hearing sometimes also
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
what you say.
It's a good one. It's a good question. That if my path is to uh, remain in the self, remain in recognition of the self, then Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi has said that we must abide in that, we must abide as that. And how do I really tell if I'm abiding? I don't feel like we can tell from memory. I don't feel like we can tell about the past. You see? Because with name, you're right that if you Maybe memory is able to report on how much chanting is continuing, but memory has no access to abidance.
Yeah.
Memory cannot store abidance. So memory is not the right tool. So we just have to use that instruction as a reminder to abide now, not as a post-mortem to be able to tell about the past. We will not be able to do that because memory does not provide any help as far as the abidance goes. And then we can only look at from memory we can only look at some other phenomenal evidence, but that just like circumstantial evidence, no, it's not like real evidence, like the uh, is my life uh, full of strife, was my day full of strife, then that may be a good indicator of me going to the me more, or I going to the me more and abiding less in that. But this is not very accurate way to do. So I would take Bhagwan's instruction to abide in that or abide as that as a reminder for the now, as a reminder for the now. Because what will you do with that post-mortem report? You will only try to inspire yourself to be more in the now, abiding in that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we can use that instruction just to remember, to remind ourselves now, 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 now.
Mm, mm,
Is the way I would hear it. It's the way I would apply
mm.
it.
So basically, on the timeline, we can only fail if we make a report. Like it's always going to
Yeah,
be.
that's a good way to put it. You see, and even if the report is very good, yes, I was abiding in God all day, then that is sounds like a good invitation for pride. And if
Yeah.
we say no, no, I didn't abide at all, it was just all messed up, then that's a good invitation for bashing ourselves or beating ourselves up. So I would feel like a lot of these pointers is just for application in the now, in the now.
Mm, mm,
Like a similar pointer, but from another tradition, which I've been referring to in Satsang, is Gyaneshwarji saying to wait, to be at God's door even for an instant is is how all liberations are available to us. So then we can never say that, oh, that instant passed. He's talking about this instant. This instant.
yes, it's
We have
outside
to be
time.
exactly
Yeah.
just about now. Absolutely.
And Father, when you take the name, can I ask you, do you usually say Ram, Ram, or you do the ADS or something more short?
Uh, it's getting shorter. It's getting shorter. It's becoming more just the name of God now. But I would say that the EDS is very helpful, especially if you're starting out. Then the EDS could be a very helpful tool
Yeah.
in the process. So right now, the practice is more just Ram, 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 and the pace and all depends on if my uh, attention is gravitating to, or I have some spreadsheet to do or something like that, then it could be Ram, 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 Ram. While the spreadsheet is happening, I may use my mouth and tongue to take the name. If there is a lot of space, then it may just be Ram. And I don't uh, break that silence. As long as it remains silent, then I could just remain in that empty, in that stillness. But if I see some distractions are starting to show up, which are not just going in just the noticing, then I can return to Ram. I don't know if these instructions are at
Thank
all
you. No,
helpful.
I feel
But
it. I feel it, Father.
yeah,
No, thank you.
yeah.
And just to say, I know you won't agree with me, but
See.
I feel I feel I know Ram. You're the closest that I know to Ram. I feel
Oh,
Ram through you. If I would think of Ram, if for any form, I would think of you.
That's too high a compliment, my child, but I am very touched deeply with your words. But so like such a long way to go before I can even dream of accepting any truth in that, and yet the love in your words is felt deeply in my heart, so I'm very touched. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. Sorry if
No,
I just said
it's
it.
very beautiful. It's very beautiful. What you shared is very beautiful.
And the same also with Guruji. I felt Jesus. Maybe it's the closest. Like if how Jesus is, I have Guruji the most close to that. And yeah.
May God bless you, and may your heart's highest intentions show up in these ways in your life as instruments of God, and may you find all that is beautiful, all that is graceful, all that is full of love and light on this holy path that we are all on. May everyone that comes as a guide, as a teacher, as a friend, as a Sangha member, may all of them elevate your love and light, your love for God. So bless.
Thank you, Father. Love you.
Thank you. Love you too, my child. Bless. Okay, let's go to Samia.
Hi, Father. Can you hear me well?
Yes, my child, I can.
Hello.
Hello.
I just allow my heart to settle. Just wanted to meet with you, Father. I'm sorry. I know that we are coming to the end, but okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm outside, so maybe other sounds I come in voices. Recently, I feel a little bit dirty, like dirt, which I feel like it's like a hunger for God, actually, which it's for me feels like a dirt, when I don't feel like I'm meeting with God, I'm just fully merged in Him. It feels like I feel dirty, just maybe burning. I don't know, whatever it is. And I don't want to label it because sometimes I know that it just works in many ways, but still just this urge to meet with Him is just so much here. Yeah, just this, Father, just this. I don't know, recently nothing feels enough. I don't know where it is going. I'm not anxious about it. It's not a problem, but at the same time, it's just like only meeting with God is just, only then I breathe. And only when I go to the meeting, like the Satsang, only just, not even sadhana actually. It's a little bit sad. I'm just doing sadhana, but it's not enough. I'm just doing, it's not enough. just meeting, at least to go to meetings here and online with you, at least these are working. But today, because I could not join properly, my connection was not good and crowd. So just this burning, I just need to meet. I don't know where it is going. I don't care actually. Just this moment, maybe as you said, just need to meet with him. Actually, there are more to talk about this. Like I wanna arrange my sadhana, all these things, but maybe not today because it's quite late. But maybe you can give me at least little tip till we meet, Father.
I see.
Yeah.
A tip so that the meeting can happen without you having to join a meeting. Yes? Is that what the question is?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like Father, live, anything live also works. Like live session with Yogi Ram Sat Kumar chanting, live meditation, other teacher, everything. But on my own, it's not easy. And before going to Tomb was working quite powerful. But now even not this. Like I need to be in connection with the teacher live.
What is
Like this only this.
what is the sadhana that you're trying?
Well, I'm not doing so well, but what I'm doing recently, I woke up, but not sitting, just laying down. And first thing that there is a RT live from an ashram, about 1 hour. But recently I cannot catch fully it. But like half an hour, I just listen to it, but not giving myself to it, Father. It's just like my waking up call, okay, like waking up alarm or something. But it just plays. And then I join again with laying down, Guruji's half an hour silent sitting. But I feel like I'm not fully really enjoying this. And then I woke up, maybe still laying down. I do one mala of ADS and my mantra from Amma. And then I try sometimes, recently I try everything. I try sometimes Lalita Sahasranama or just some verses from Quran. It just changes, but reading part. But yeah, I try everything.
And what
But, yeah.
what resonates with you the most? Are you able to identify something like that? What brings you closest to the meeting that you feel? Because what you mentioned, all of them are beautiful practices, beautiful. So all of them have the capacity to deepen.
Your mic is sometimes not so working well, Father, or maybe
All of them have the capacity.
now.
Maybe my throat also. Maybe they are not working so well after
No.
sharing so long. But
I'm sorry.
no. It's good. It's good. So I was saying that all of them have the potential to bring you to that holy meeting. So
Father, the thing is that I don't do them fully. I'm just doing them. I don't want to say casually, but I cannot put, like, I'm waiting for them to work on me, but I don't offer myself fully to them. I cannot, maybe I don't know yet how to do it, but maybe I need to practice that. I really need to do this because I'm not doing this. They are just playing and I'm waiting for them to take me over. Because it was like this before. They were taking me over, but now I think I just need to join them and work with them.
Yes. Many times when we start to practice, we get a lot of sweetness as the initial encouragement. But then with that practice, there are phases of dryness or aridity, and it can feel like nothing is happening. But we have to go through those phases. I would say that check in with your heart at least for the day, while we start like this, at least for the day, say, okay, what is going to be my constant reminder to be with God, to meet God, and follow that guidance for the day, even if your mind says it's working, not working. Don't judge your progress or judge the meeting based on your mind's report. So
May please say again what I need to do?
Yes, I'm saying that just go to your heart in the morning and say, for today, among all of these beautiful practices, what is it that will bless me the most in meeting God and keep me in His presence? Allow your heart to guide you on that. And it will guide you, it will tell you that today stay with this. Don't let your mind come in and judge the effectiveness of that, because most of that which is happening to us inwardly, the mind has no access to. So if you're doing the ADS, then just in taking God's name, or if you're doing Lalita Sahasranama, then in taking her holy names, uh, there are many things that are happening inside us which are not visible to the mind. So we cannot go with the mind judgment about whether it is working or whether it is not working. Allow your heart to guide you to begin with on a day-to-day basis, because from the report you're making is that you have so many beautiful practices that you've collected, but you've not settled in your heart on what will be your main foundation practice. So
Yeah, I don't
I'm
have
not,
main. I'm
yeah, so I'm not rushing or pushing for that to happen in a forceful way. Just, but every day we must know that this is my main practice for today, so that you're not first getting into suffering, not getting into the mind first, and then scampering around trying to figure out now for this what should I do. You have determined that today I'm going to use God's name in this way, or I will do the inquiry in this way, or whatever resonates with you the most for that particular day. Then you stay with that as much as possible during the day. Then do the same thing next day. Now, it may happen that after a few weeks, every day in the morning you receive the same guidance for the same practice. Then you know that, okay, now we are settling into this as the main thing. So, try this out for a few days, and I'm happy to hear what happens.
okay, Father. One thing I wanna offer to you that I told you that I hopefully will start a work, and it is
Yeah,
about just taking care of cats. It's like stray
yeah,
cats. Someone
yeah.
just rescued them. It's best work.
I see,
And
I see.
yeah, I today heard someone also doing this, and yeah, I just wanted to offer it as seva. And
Very,
I
very,
what I need to say is that one time a dog bites me, so
yes,
it actually it created a trauma
yeah,
probably in my body that whenever I touch an animal now I fear, and now I even with cats now. So
yeah,
I will go to take care of them, but still I cannot touch them fully. Before I was like fully with them, but now it's because I feel from sudden movement after that event. So
yeah.
that I adore them. So I just want to ask for your help on this because I really want to do this. I love them, but yeah, this
I pray for this.
residue of trauma.
I pray for this, and I wish I had a good story to offer you, but a dog bit me when I was a kid. I was much younger, and then I was always fearful of dogs. And then we
Oh
adopted a child, and I wish I could tell you a happy story, but this one has also bit me, and it is. I don't know if it has added to the trauma or reduced it, but I love him, so. I don't know if that's a good enough story to share, but yeah. So
no, it's okay. I will not take care of dogs. It's cats and
I don't
cats.
usually believe in karma and karmic things too much, but looks like in this life I have some karma to settle with dogs.
Bless you on this matter.
Thank you. Thank
uh, and one more thing also. My family and me were staying in a house for rented till we know ourselves. But recently, the owner told us to just leave the home. Yeah, and the rents are very high and all this stuff. So I just wanted to ask for your blessing on this for my family to find the best one. Even to have their own flat. I pray for this actually.
Yes. All my blessings, all my prayers.
Thank you, Father. Love you so much.
Welcome. Love you. Bless you. Okay, Radhe Shyam ji. Ram Ram, Ram Ram. Oh, my love. Bless you. All my love to all of you.